Alright, testing. Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me? I hope so. I don't know. Oh man. Straighten out the mustache here real quick. Make sure I look good for the camera. Hey everybody, I'm Jim. I probably need an introduction here. I don't know. I haven't been on video before. You probably recognize my voice. Unless you've seen the Kickstarter video, because Aaron and I are both on camera there. Today I just want to talk a little bit about Falling Skies, a Season 3 premiere. Aaron doesn't watch this show, so he's not going to be able to contribute to this one, so I thought I'd try a different format. The solo project. Oh, and my laptop's sliding on me here. That's no good. That's something you don't want to happen. So I got some notes here about the premiere. It was a 2-hour premiere. A lot of stuff has changed. There's been a lot of time passed, and I'm just going to talk about it. Talk about whatever I want to talk about. I hope this will be a discussion between you and I, audience. Yeah, you and I. You can hit me up on Twitter or email me, and we can talk about it. We're going to get some forums or something going, because I'm really not cool with not being able to directly converse with you guys. And our Reddit experiment kind of failed big time. So yeah, or you can send an email, fallingskies@baldmove.com. I will get those directly. So hopefully you guys will talk to me. I'm sure I'll say a lot of stupid shit about the show that you don't agree with. That's how it goes. So let's take it from the top. We start off like 7 months, I guess, after Season 2 ended. The Season 2 was a big cliffhanger with this new type of alien coming out of the ship, and everybody going, oh my god, what is that? Which was pretty freaking cool spot to leave it, because I imagine that got people talking. Of course, I have no one to talk to about it, so that's what you're here for. So we're 7 months ahead of then. Tom is president. Kind of a big change. I mean, he was kind of going that way anyway when he ousted the former president, Terry O'Quinn. John Locke, as I like to call him, because that's all I can think of when I see him now. Hal is paralyzed from the brain bug that got in him last season, so that's totally new. I was like, man, am I just not remembering him getting paralyzed last season? But no, that happened over the 7 months, and apparently he was like totally paralyzed. He couldn't move anything in the off season, and in that 7 months he's gained part of his mobility back. His torso's pretty much working to full steam again, but his legs are fucked. But it's all in his head, as we found out. Kind of another big thing, the first big thing I want to talk about is the mole. Who do you guys think this is? Because I'm going to say it's probably not Hal, since he is controlled by the aliens directly. Like, why would they need him to covertly go in and take pictures of some stupid map? He could just say, hey, Dad, what's up with the plan? What are we doing? And his dad would tell him, because his dad's a sucker for his kids. And then he could go report back to his alien girlfriend. But I don't think they would do that. That just seems weird. So it's got to be someone else. I kind of want to say it might be Anthony, the guy who he actually, Locke, what is his real name in the show? Manchester is his real name. I want to say that it might be Anthony. He's the guy that Manchester got to help him narrow down the suspect list. But I'm not sure about that. Obviously, it's just kind of a guess. So I'm sticking with him for now. We'll see how it plays out. What do you guys think of this as a plot thread in general? Like, do you like seeing a mole in camp? Because I know this has been done in several other shows, and I'm going to keep going back to Lost on this. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but watch it if you haven't. At least up to season, 5. It was pretty good. There are a couple slow seasons in there, too, but anyway, there were a few moles in Lost which were done really well. I mean, Benjamin Linus being the primary one, which he wasn't much of a mole because they immediately suspected him. I mean, they immediately threw him into the brig. So not much of a mole there. The other moles, though, Ethan Rom and Goodwin, were actually way better because they integrated themselves into the group. Maybe I should put a spoiler. I'm going to put a graphic in here that says massive lost spoiler warnings because I'm destroying this show if you haven't seen it. But I liked what they did with those moles. You know, I mean, the way that they integrated with them, with the group so well, and they were helping them out, kind of like the aliens are doing here. You know, and I'm sure whoever the mole is has to be pulling their weight in Charleston. Otherwise, why would they keep them around? Somebody would notice that. You know. So I like it as a plot thread. They have a lot to live up to though, as far as moles and other shows, and as far as the show goes, I'm actually pretty impressed with what they've done, especially a show on TNT. I don't think of TNT as having great television. Do you guys? I mean, am I crazy? I just don't think of them as a major player in broadcast television. So to see a show like this, which is willing to do things like show a field full of children who have been discarded after they have been zombified by an alien race and killed, that's pretty intense. And that was one of the most shocking moments, I think, for me of season 2. So a show that will do that, I'm looking for big things from it, you know? So then there's Hal's brain bug / paralysis. We kind of talked about it a little bit already. This is like the second mole in the camp, the not so super secret mole now because his girlfriend found out about it. His real girlfriend, not his alien girlfriend. Yeah, it's okay. I'm less interested in this as a plot point, although having control over the son of the president is a pretty powerful thing. I mean, they could do a lot with this, you know? Especially if they don't tell anybody. Like, that's the mistake that I feel a couple of people are making, like, especially Anne with that baby, that crazy baby. She's literally got the most understanding guy on the planet as her husband, and she's not going to tell him about it. I don't get that. That's a big thing with me in shows. I do not like shows where characters don't say things simply because the plot demands it. I like a show where characters are driven by personal and external motivations that make sense, and they deal with those motivations. I haven't seen the motivation for her not telling Hal about this baby, right? So they need to step up on that, I think. Let's talk about Manchester getting killed. John Locke shot in the head. In the head? In the chest? In the chest. Not in the head. It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, last season we saw Tom roll into Charleston, and Manchester was the head honcho, and he didn't want to budge, and he didn't want to listen to Tom. Eventually, Tom forced him to, and the circumstances forced him to. And apparently Tom just took over. He is now the president. So there's not really a whole lot of room for Manchester. I mean, his character wasn't going anywhere. I like that they took him out for a good reason, though. Certainly the mole didn't want to be found out, and when the full investigation was launched, it's a good thing that the mole took him out, for the mole anyway. And they have a lot of big actors in this. I mean, Terry O'Quinn, big actor. Noah Wiley, big actor. Will Patton, pretty big actor. That's about it. But too many chefs in the kitchen, not enough cooks, and cooks are way cheaper. So if they can get rid of a couple chefs and replace them with cooks, maybe they can have an awesome, one more awesome fight scene or something. Have some better visual effects. The visual effects in this outstanding. Like, I've been enjoying them thoroughly the entire run of the series so far. So yeah, glad he's dead. The nuclear power plant. in the second half of this episode, in 302, I guess. I like it. I like it as an action piece. Like the set was cool. Uh, Anything that deals with like nuclear power and technology, I'm a sucker for it, and that's probably why I'm watching this show, because it's all about technology, alien technology, the coolest kind of technology there is, right? Um, and it was a good plan. It was well executed. Like, we're not only going to take out this really important resource for the enemy, but we're also going to at least, if not sniff out the mole, at least narrow down the list of suspects. Smart thinking. Good plan, Noah Wiley. I did think it was a little absurd when the guy broke his glasses and now he can't see, but he can walk a total layman through the process of detonating a nuclear power plant by putting a couple wires together. If it was that easy, there would be a lot more nuclear accidents. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Whatever. It's TNT. Whatever. Speaking of TNT, let's talk about Matt for a little bit. Matt and his homework problems, his school troubles. So here's a kid who thinks that half a stick of dynamite is going to blow out a window. Okay, kid, you need to go back to school. You need to learn a little math, maybe a little physics, understand how explosions work, because that's going to do a hell of a lot more, as he found out, than just blow out the window. And actually, I like how they handled that. The explosion was huge, and then you get the kids reacting, going, oh, freaking cool, and then they realize, oh man, where's Matt? He has not come out yet. And then we see him come out of the cloud of smoke, and we're like, oh, does he have his arms blown off or something? And no, he's fine. That's kind of cool. And then not only did they go there and say, oh, well, nothing out of the ordinary is happening here. It's just kids being kids. Then they also had the troops come in and find them, and I thought they were going to be aliens, honestly. But it turns out they're not. They were just, Anthony and his goons. So, pretty cool there. I don't know. I like the stuff between him and his dad. I always like the stuff between Tom and his kids. It's very powerful stuff. I mean, I am not a father, but I imagine people who are parents probably even feel these scenes more than I do, And Tom is like the world's model dad. Not only is he the most understanding guy on the planet, but he's also the perfect father. He is a TNT hero. Let's call him the TNT hero from now on. But yeah, powerful scenes. I really like the scene between him and Ben last season when Ben was kind of leaving to go be with the aliens. I felt like it got a little cheesy in parts, but I thought both of the actors pulled it off well enough. And yeah, Noah Wiley, he's a beast when it comes to acting. The person I feel like can't hold his water, and I'm really not interested in plot-wise, is Pope. I think his plot has run its course. During this entire series, he has been kind of the reluctant hero who is also borderline rebellious. He's about to sabotage plans, and he's getting in fights physical fights with Tom, and I feel like he's just been that the entire time, and they need to do something more with him. Because whether it be kill him, whether it be send him off on a mission to come back later and with a triumphant return, or to come back as a skitter ally, those would all be fine. Or just turn him good. I mean, maybe we have too many good people in the show. I don't know. So maybe I don't want him to turn good. But yeah, I feel like he's maybe one of the only actors who I haven't been totally impressed with. Maybe the guy playing Hal a little bit, although I think he's doing a hell of a job acting paralyzed. There was an interview I read with him where he went and actually got a wheelchair and went to a hospital where people were doing physical therapy for paralysis and stuff, and so he actually like boned up on what it's like to be paralyzed before the season started. So he's actually doing a pretty good job with that, and I've started to like him more and more as the series has gone on. Although he's kind of being a dick this episode, but he apologizes. You know, his dad has taught him well. Some other things I want to talk about. Let's talk about the alien rebels and their weapon. Now, everybody in this town, is Charleston a town now? It might be. The population is certainly reduced. The town of Charleston, everyone in the town of Charleston has a different opinion on these aliens. We've got two sides forming. One between the people who are real military, like Mac, is that his name? Weaver, yeah. Him and the generals, well, at least one of the generals, they are kind of on the fence about the aliens. They don't know. Are these guys good? Are they bad? Whatever. And Weaver's got a good point. They're aliens, A. We don't know anything about them. And their motivations do seem suspect. I mean, the motivation that they claim for wanting to fight these guys is that they're following them across the universe to liberate the planets that they have taken over. Because they destroyed their homeworld. That is a noble thing to do. And if we are to believe that the aliens are this noble, I think that's a tough thing to swallow. But Tom seems to have swallowed it completely. He also has a good point that they have given them every reason to be trusted. I mean, they are fighting alongside them and dying together. They have revealed their the impending attacks. Sorry, getting a little tongue-tied here. They've also given them upgraded alien tech. I mean, we saw the stuff in the doctor's office. We've seen the new weapons that they've got. If these aliens are not what they say, and that they are actually working with the Skitters, then they have certainly given them a lot of advantages that could work against the Volm in the long run. And I don't see them doing that unless this is a very long con. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I did think it was pretty convenient. At the very beginning of this episode, I was like, okay, so Red Eye's dead. That the reason we knew that Red Eye was good is because he had the red eye, right? He didn't look like the other Skitters. I was kind of curious how they were going to deal with that going forward, because after the initial scene where the humans are ambushed and the aliens come to save them, the Skitters do, I was like, oh, I thought these Skitters were bad, but turns out they're good. Until we see them coming down the hillside, and they have distinguishing marks, just like Red Eye did. Their faces are all painted up, like war paint, or I don't know if these are tattoos or what they are, but they're definitely distinguished from the evil aliens. So just remember, Skitters look like this. Anything that doesn't look like a Skitter, but is a Skitter, is a good Skitter. All right? You're safe to give it a hug. A nice big Skitter hug. Let's talk about the weapon. That goes along with the Skitter Trust. Actually, let's talk about the scene where we're in the war room and the generals are talking about the ambush and about how they've just discovered that there's a mole. They've got one of the Volm, I don't remember his name, standing in the room, and he kind of tries to explain why the humans are winning and why their tactics are working, because the Skitters are prepared for large-scale battles. They can deal with that. What they can't deal with is the guerrilla warfare that they've been waging on them. You hit here, you retreat, you run over there, you hit them in small groups, stay mobile, attack quickly, and get out. They can't deal with that. Uh, and the general, played by a guy who is very familiar to me, but I don't know his name. I've seen him in a ton of stuff. That general, his mind is unable to grasp the concept that a military could be prepared for a certain kind of war more than another kind of war. That to me says that this guy needs to go soon because he doesn't understand anything about war. Nothing. That is a very... Trust me, if I understand it, it's a very basic concept of war. Very basic. Tom certainly understands it, being a history professor previously. Revolutionary War, anyone? That's exactly what we did to the British. That's why we won. So Tom knows all about that. He should kick that guy in the dick and tell him to get out of the room. Because he's an idiot. So let's talk about the weapon. There's this massive weapon that they're building in this hole. I don't know. Is it underground? Is it totally underground? I don't know. They take this massive tunnel to it. This tunnel is going all the way from Charleston to this site where they're building this thing. Super long tunnel. Dug, I'm sure, at great effort. I mean, unless the aliens can dig at like a mile a minute, then it took a long time to dig this tunnel. Goes out to a platform which does nothing but overlook this weapon. There's no way down from it. Nothing. That, to me, seems insane. Why didn't they build just a ladder? A slide? Yeah, that's crazy to me. Crazy. Anyway, not the point. So the weapon... Tom has a very good point. Or, sorry, not Tom. Weaver has a very good point about this weapon. We have no idea if this even is a weapon. What it does. It could be a bomb that they're going to transport into Charleston and destroy it with. And we're helping them build it. I mean, we have no idea what this thing is or what it does. So I'm actually interested in what they're going to do going forward with Robert Sean, what's his name? The guy from House, who is the professor, the nuclear guy, whose glasses get crushed in this episode. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do going forward with this weapon and him trying to figure out what it is, what it does, and that could lead really cool places with the mistrust, or I guess distrust, of these aliens. If this guy can understand it well enough to say, okay, this is a weapon, even then, are they going to use it on us? Like, how do you aim this thing? Where's the whatever comes out going to land? That's what I want to know. So, yeah, that's I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Video is longer than I wanted it to be, but I'm probably going to try to do these every week, I guess. Every week until Falling Skies is over. I don't know. They're easier to do than the long form podcast because I can watch it once, jot down some notes. I don't. It's not like Mad Men where I have to do hours of research on the history of the show because, you know, aliens haven't attacked Earth yet. So it's easier. I mean, I can just get on here and ramble. And then you guys can tell me what you think. That's what I really want to know. What do you guys think about all this stuff? I've talked for far too long, so I'm getting out of here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And I will see you next week with another one of these horrible things. Bye.